The fuck you mean you don't know DJ Mark B? You better preach it. Say that. Say that. Oh, you better go now.
Welcome to Preach Care Preach with Rashad. We are the prophets. Here's another episode, another sermon coming at you from 12 Ounce Sports, Zingo TV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, anywhere else you can listen. Rashad, man, what's going on? He probably isn't back, but hey, we got a guest. We got a guest on the show from the Off the Ball podcast. Chris, what's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? It's a pleasure to be on the show, man.
Yeah, no doubt. You can catch him on at Off the Ball Pod on Twitter, and you can follow his account at Real LeBron 89.
Yep.
Until we get Rashad back in here, I'm gonna go through, man. What's going on with you during the quarantine, man?
Not much, man. Working. I'm still working. I haven't stopped as far as, work. It's been, I do security, so it's still out there, just trying to be safe, man. That's all you can do. Take the proper precautions, be safe, and just, working on the podcast, just doing that. It's been fun. So, just doing those things and just taking it day by day with all the craziness going on in the world.
Facts. I feel you, man. Yeah, I'm just trying to go day by day and all that stuff, and just keep go. I go to work, come home, man. Try to stay away from everybody as best I can.
Exactly, man. It's crazy out here, especially in New York, man. With all we got, our numbers are crazy over here as far as unfortunate fatalities and people getting tested positive. So you just got to be careful, man. That's all you can do.
Yeah, definitely, man. The world has been going crazy, man. Rashad, what's going on?
What up, bro? I'm glad to have Chris on, man.
Man, thank you for having me.
And like he was saying, man, just everybody's trying to stay safe during this pandemic, man. It's still going on. I know everybody's trying to get back out and lead a somewhat normal life, man. But just
yeah, man.
Just trying to stay safe. Just trying to stay safe, man.
That's all you can do, man. Stay safe. Take your proper precautions. Don't be in these big crowds like we be seeing on these videos of people going to the beaches and the boardwalks. It's like, yeah, what are y'all doing? It's
they wild.
This virus is not gone. It's still in the air, man. It's just chilling. It's like, oh, I see people. Oh, I'm gonna get y'all. Like, come on now.
Man, it's crazy in Atlanta, bro.
Yeah, oh man. In Miami, they think it's because it's hot out. It's nah, man, it's still lingering. So they gotta be careful. That's all you can do. Be careful.
I'm so scared of this second wave hitting us because
yeah, man,
I got some vacation planned, man. I'm trying to go and every time I see people, man, come on, man, this is getting out of hand.
Man, I'm trying to go to a football game or something, man.
Something, right? Man?
Right, exactly.
I was about to watch hockey or it's crazy, I don't know. I'm like, I'll take hockey right now. Like,
hey,
I need to watch something or go to something.
Shout out to them Vegas Knights, man. You know what I'm saying? Got rocking the hat today. Rocking the hat today. Hockey, man. What's up? Hey, man.
Hockey.
First off, before we get started, man, have y'all seen Dame right now, man? He
up out here.
Dan Orlovsky, man, calling him entitled and stuff, and
yeah, that's
Dane, hey, Dane, he from Oakland, man. He gonna show his roots all the time. So Dan better be careful out in these streets.
Yeah, Dan, he likes to shoot out of his mouth a lot, Orlovsky. So
yeah.
I don't know why he's trying to tell guys stay privileged when he's been in the league. He was in the league for 10 years longer than he should have been.
Certified backup.
Yeah, certified backup his whole life, and he got the nerve to talk about Dame, calling him privileged. Yeah, that's just whack. I don't know why he went that way.
Yeah, he's tried to clean it up on Twitter, saying, "Hey, I misused the words and everything." But bro,
right.
once you say it on air, man, like your apology's not on air. So the people who heard that, some people take the media pretty serious, so they're gonna take your word as gospel. But when Dame's really one of the most humble dudes out here, he went to Weber State, had to work his way up into a superstar and stuff like that. So,
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
For Dan to say that, man, people were going at Dan's head on Twitter, man, with the they showed the video of him run out of bounds against Chaos Vikings.
Yeah, man. And you see Jared Allen pointing at him like, "What is this idiot doing?" Like, that's when they went 0-16 too. Like, come on.
He going down in history. I mean, I can understand him on his. He needs to stick to this football quarterback spot. You know, don't tread into the NBA world, man. Don't tread that far.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Dame. Like Dame is like he's really respected around the league. Most people, you never hear people talking crap about Dame, and it's like, why go that way, man? He's trying to protect himself, you know.
Yeah.
And to call him entitled and all that, that's whack. That you don't go that way.
That's crazy. So the whole thing with Dame was that for everybody who didn't hear, he said that if they don't give us a real chance to make the playoffs, what's the point of playing? I'm not going to waste my time and risk my health during all this COVID stuff to play. So the NBA, you know, it's been circling around maybe 2 proposals right now. You have the 16 reseeding 1 through 16, no matter East or West, versus the group stage, kind of like the Olympic play. So first, if they had to change it, which one are y'all going?
I mean, I was with the 1 through 16, but then someone mentioned the group stage, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that group stage feel. I mean, I dig it when it comes to the World Cup. So that's something that I think would be interesting. And you know, we're gonna have to figure out something new because with everything going on, you gotta have to change it up and to get people, you know, getting back to watching. So I'm all for a group stage. It would just, I don't know how you would figure out as far as games because you gotta have a certain amount of games, you know, for these guys to be cool with it. But you know, if they could figure out how to get, you know, the right amount of games for each stage, I think that would be really interesting to see that type of format, you know. But I'm cool with 1 through 16 too. You know, and then maybe having a play-in for the last 2 seeds or something like that, play-in for the 7 and 8, and then we have one, you know, for the last 16 and 15 seeds, and then do 1 through 16, and that, you know, that would be interesting too. But I know some people have been against that because, you know, you might have, you know, West Coast, East Coast, and then but the, you know, a 5-12 matchup might have East Coast, and that benefits them going on if whoever wins that. So, you know, I could see both ways, but the group stage, you know, you could probably make it more towards East and West kind of, and then, you know, do it that way, and that might be a little bit more easy as far as traveling and stuff. So I'm like, I'm all for both, but the group stage thing is definitely something that I'm really intrigued by.
Yeah, same, man. I'm intrigued by both as well. I've been an advocate for the 1 through 16 for a while now because just the conference imbalance, like how you would have certain West teams missing the playoffs a few years while the East may get 2 teams in under 500, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's just kind of ridiculous. So, but for this year, man, I would actually prefer the 1 through 16 over the group stage. And the only reason being is because if you do the group stage, you're taking the top 20 records. And this year's been kind of a weird year. You would have 7 teams competing that are below 500. Like the Spurs are below 500, the Blazers, the Nets, the Magic. I think the Grizzlies even one game below 500.
And one game,
I think the Pelicans below 500. So you know you would have 7 out of 20. That's 35% of the potential group stage playoff field below 500. And I think that would kind of dilute the whole point of it. But at the same time, a pro of it would be you would get more star power into it because you would get the Dame, you would get the Zion, Brandon Ingram, and you know you would get, you know, people kind of hate on them. You would still get that exposure of the Spurs, just that Popovich pedigree. Who knows what they can put together, you know, in a little a weird time like this. So
yeah,
the group stage one it's intriguing to me, but just because of so many teams being below 500. I would slightly favor the 1 through 16, even though the matchups are kind of one-sided to the higher seed. You would kind of be so predictable to the higher seed winning, but I would still just kind of favor that over just the so many teams below 500 competing in that group stage model. But I wouldn't be mad about it because of the star power it would bring. And right now, they're trying to get ratings and get some revenue back going pretty much.
See,
yeah, for sure.
Me and Rashad are definitely on 2 different spectrums when it comes to that reseeding, because to me it's gonna be the same way. I'm looking at what would the potential matchups be, and I just went just chalk and the conference finals of the 16 teams: Milwaukee versus Clippers, Lakers versus Raptors. I mean, we probably get that anyway if it's East and West. You know what I mean? At least a high probability. So, I guess you make the first round more interesting because you get to see the East West versus stuff. But I do like the group stage, and it's only because I'm a very advocate of the international play, and I love like the Olympics. So, I think 2 teams will play. You play 2 games versus each opponent, so a total of 8 games. And then the top 2 teams, go on to the next round until an 18 playoff. And when you look about it like that, for one, Group D would be Clippers, Nuggets, Pacers, Magic, and the Kings. We know the Magic and the Kings not coming out of that. And it's between Denver and Indiana. So it's still the same way no matter how you try to slice it.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's going to come out. But yeah, I do like the group stage, man, because one, it gets Dame in there. talk about how great of a player he is. But then again, like Rashad said, it does water down some more than it already is, and we know the AFC stands no chance in the playoffs. What year was last year that the Magic won against the Raptors and then got swept after that, basically?
They won the first game and then they got swept.
So either team, the Magic as an 8 seed, or the Pelicans or Grizz, whoever get in as 8 seed, if they don't win game 1, that's probably it. So it's still gonna be bad either way. In the first round, outside of the 4-5, 3-6, how much are we really getting in that sense?
Yeah, and plus the Knicks won't have a chance to be in any other format. So,
but the group stage thing? The intriguing thing about it is you could have a team that could just catch fire though. Like, what if like a young team like the Pelicans? Like, what if they just catch fire and advance? Like, what if they beat their opponents and end up being one of those top 2 teams that advance? Like, I think that could bring a different element because in NBA superstars can carry the weight. So you got right. What if Dame and CJ get hot and get going, despite their record? What if they get hot and get going?
I would say this: looking at the group stages, so Milwaukee, Utah, Philly, Grizzlies, Portland. Portland could make it out of that. I mean,
they were in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Right. So
they still got a lot of talent on that team.
Obviously, Milwaukee probably. I bet all my money on that for them to make it. But one more team had to make it. You can say Utah and Philly, but we've seen their up and downs this season. We've seen Mike Conley get benched already. The Sixers, I've never liked the way they was constructed this season. And Portland, man, they, like you said, with Melo there and Dame and CJ, you got scores, so they can get in now. New Orleans I don't care how much fire they catch, ain't no way they getting out their group, which would potentially be Lakers, Boston, Rockets. Like I don't know, man. I like Zion, but he's special, but I don't think he's that special.
Well, let's go through every group and see what 2 teams we'll pick from each one.
All right, so it's like I said, Group A: Milwaukee, Utah, Sixers, the Grizzlies, and Portland. So they play in a total 8 games.
All right, Milwaukee's chalk. I think we'll all pick Milwaukee for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Milwaukee's coming out for sure.
I'm going Philly for my second team.
I will if I had to put money on it, I definitely would put Sixers as well.
Yeah, Sixers advancing for sure.
Now I'm assuming everybody healthy who wasn't really hurt. Group B, we got Lakers, Boston, Houston, Brooklyn, and Pelicans.
Give me the Lakers and Rockets, man. Much I love Jason Tatum. Give me the Lakers and Rockets.
Yeah, Boston and that Boston. That's Boston and Houston. That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Boston was coming along, and Houston they got a lot of firepower offensively, but not having any big men, and having to go against some of those teams. Man, that's tough. The biggest man is Tucker. That's their big man. That's even the Knicks did good against the Rockets when we played them right before everything happened.
Right.
So that'd be interesting. But they got firepower. Russ and Harden can definitely do it. But the Boston team is pretty good too.
I think I'll choose Boston. I think Boston. First of all, Boston versus Rockets would be a amazing finals match. we won't get it. But we will never get that. But I think that'd be an amazing series if they was to play. But you only get 2 games, man. I think I may lean Boston, and I don't want to do that to D'Antoni and Harden, but I just think that Boston matches up with Rockets very well, and they can go that small ball when they got Jaylen Brown, Hayward, Tatum, and Kimba. Like, that's 4 guys, and you can throw at Marcus Smart. Hey, we just as small as y'all. What's up? So I mean, I think the Boston's the only team that can play Rocket style and without giving up any talent on the court. So I don't know, man. I'll probably choose Boston.
Man, before we transition, bro, if Houston lost in that group stage, they would never hit the end of that.
As long as they don't lose to Brooklyn and the Pelicans, I think they might be all right.
Nah, people getting fired if they wouldn't advance. So D'Antoni would not last for long. They gotta change up for sure if they lose.
So we got Bucks, Sixers, and 2-1. Y'all said Boston, and we said Lakers. So let's go to the next one.
All right, Group C, the Raptors, Miami Heat, OKC, Dallas, and the Spurs. This is the hardest one. Oh my God.
Hey, definitely give me Dallas, man. Luka was on the MVP tear, so definitely give me Dallas.
Damn, that one's tough.
Wait, are you saying that Dallas is your definite out of that?
Yes.
4? Damn.
That's tough because you could see any combination of those teams get in. Because even San Antonio, you can never count out San Antonio because they always play up above to what they especially this year not having much talent. But I mean,
hey, I'm stumped, yo. I mean, if I believed in Toronto even when Kawhi left.
I would put Toronto in.
So I think Toronto comes out. And Rashad, you make a great point.
Give me 6 God and give me Dallas.
You make a great point with Luka MVP tier 29, 9, and 9. I mean, you can't. So that's hard to go against.
What was it? Toronto? You said Toronto. It was
Miami, OKC, and Miami having a hell of a season. OKC shocked everyone this season. Chris Paul been on if I had to do an MVP rate vote, like Chris Paul definitely would get 3rd place in my opinion on this team. But
I'm gonna go Dallas. I think Dallas. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dallas. Luka in playoffs. I think he would show up big time.
I think I'll choose Miami. I just think they talent wise, like as far as depth. That's the team in the playoffs that if they was to get out. Now, granted, this is it's only 8 games. We're only playing each team twice, so this might not be the style for Miami. But you catch Miami in a series, it's hard. It's gonna be tough to get them out. So I'm gonna go Miami just because Dallas already 2-1. So we'll go ahead and put them in there.
Spurs might go 2-6.
Group D, you got the Clippers, you got the Nuggets, the Pacers, the Magic, and the Kings. I think this is pretty easy. This might be the easiest one.
Clippers and Nuggets easy.
Yeah.
Clippers and Nuggets.
So we saying Milwaukee, Philadelphia, the Lakers, the Boston Celtics. We got Dallas Mavericks, the Raptors, Clippers, and the Nuggets will be our final 8 teams. I mean, that's pretty. I mean,
I can watch that.
I can watch that and be happy with that.
The crazy part is when you look at the seeding of all these teams, the only team we got as a quote unquote upset, I guess, is the Mavericks and the Sixers, making it as 13 and 12 seeds. If you reseed it, we talk about the other option. So we had the Bucks number 1, Lakers number 2. You got 3 the Raptors, we got 4 the Clippers, we got 5 the Celtics. So we got the top 5 easily. 6 the Nuggets, another easy one. And then who's the 7? So we didn't say Jazz, but then we got Mavericks and Sixers to round out our out of that. So I mean that's not bad. I mean the top 6 teams, and then we got Mavericks and Sixers who, if you think about it, Luka is one of the best players in the league. Embiid, when healthy, a top 10 player, and Ben Simmons right around that top 20 range. So I mean as far as star power is there.
Exactly. The Mavericks with Porzingis coming back, seeing if he can take his game to the next level, finally being healthy, This like I said, it's all about star power in the NBA, and the NBA wants all their stars in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
you got Clippers with Kawhi and PG, LeBron with LeBron and LA with LeBron and AD. There's so much star power in this. Giannis and the Milwaukee and stuff. So we got a lot of big time players in this, and that's what you want. You want to see the best players in
Yeah.
the biggest tournament for the chance to win a championship, and that's what we want. So that this would be tremendous if this were to happen.
Yeah, we basically had it chalked for the most part, as far as
Yeah.
like you said, when you reseed it, and then like you just said, Chris, from like just the marketing perspective of it all, outside of Houston and the Knicks, you have all the biggest markets in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only missing.
Chicago, man.
James.
Chill. Come on, man. You miss Chicago, man. They be.
Hey, Chi-town, man.
I mean,
Levine-
You got both Lake. You got both LA teams. I mean, no New York teams, but whatever. But
Yeah.
but
yeah,
you know,
outside of those two, outside of those two markets, you really got all the best markets. You got, like you said, both LA teams. You got Philly's a huge basketball market. The pedigree of Boston, what Toronto's doing, that atmosphere up there. So you would have the biggest stars and most of the biggest markets. I mean,
Right.
of course, if Giannis isn't there, Milwaukee's not a factor. But because he is there, he'll probably wind up being back-to-back MVP. That's enough to warrant them being a viable market right now.
So, a quick question before we move on. So, all right. So, if we talk about the group stage, and let's say that is the way they're going. So, we mentioned how the Rockets and D'Antoni may be out of a job if he doesn't get out of here. So, outside of them, do y'all believe like teams like Utah or even OKC, because they were trying to tank anyway and turn out to be good. Do you think like one of those teams, or even if like Miami doesn't get there, do you think they make drastic changes if they don't get into the last 8 teams?
I mean, Utah. I think people look at Utah a lot, and obviously with everything that happened with Rudy Gobert and how he kind of made himself look like a fool with the whole coronavirus and getting tested positive for it after making a joke out of it, and then Donovan Mitchell and that whole. So obviously they've said that they're good, but are they? I mean, are they really good?
Right.
That's gonna be a question, and to me. You're going to always pick Donovan Mitchell over Rudy Gobert. As great as Rudy Gobert is, and defensively and stuff, you're going to choose the bigger star, and Mitchell's a star, and Utah needs that type of, they need a star power to help them. So I could see changes there. And what was the other team you said?
If Miami doesn't get out,
I could see Miami. Miami's going to be very intriguing. I don't think they'll make moves, but I know that they're going to be waiting on one guy in Milwaukee, and that's, to me, they're going to be watching him big time, because this is a big year for Milwaukee too.
Yeah.
Because if they don't win a chance, like last year they blew it. They were up 2-0, and then somehow, I mean, I know Toronto's defense changed, but for them to win 4 in a row after you win the first 2, that's crazy that happened. And Giannis is definitely improved. I mean, he might be the most improved player this year, and he was the MVP last year. But this is a big year for Milwaukee. If they don't get it done this year, and obviously the craziness you could use that as an excuse to an extent, but this year and then next season, if they don't try to get someone to help Giannis take the load off him, because he's gonna have to carry the load for this team, and so that's gonna be interesting. He's a free agent after next season. So they're gonna be pressured to try to make sure they get try to find someone else to come. Same way like how Cleveland tried to handle it with LeBron when he left the first time. I think Milwaukee they have the most pressure to get it done. If they don't win a championship this year, the clock's gonna be ticking, and then if they don't make improvements for next season, man, watch out, because Pat Riley is very persuasive. And
Put the rings on the table.
Yeah, he put the rings
All
on the
of
table. LeBron James was like, "Okay, you got me," and that the way they lose LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and then they retool and they're back, to be an irrelevant team, and the pieces they have, man, that's definitely a team. Miami, next year, for Giannis to be that's potential. So I could see some of those stuff happening, but definitely a lot of pressure from Milwaukee. I could see I can see if they don't win, a lot of changes for them. So Miami too, I know, but they're going to be trying to look at that big fish. So those are some changes I can see happening down the line.
I think Houston has the most pressure because you got D'Antoni's getting older. Hopefully, I think he's like 72 years old. So hopefully he doesn't.
He's 72.
Yeah,
He's been around. Yeah, he has been around for a minute.
Yeah, he's 72, 73. So hopefully, like I think he's in it. I think he's in his 70s. I think he's in his 70s, man. Like he's up there. Cause like he coached in Italy for a long time, and then he came to the pros. Damn. So I think he's late 60s, early 70s, man. So I think they have the most pressure.
Yeah, especially with that small ball. They pretty much gave up. When they traded Capella to Atlanta, they pretty much said, we're gonna try to small ball everyone, and they had some success early on. I mean,
go all in.
They went all in on that. The biggest guy is PJ Tucker. I mean, 6'7". This ain't college where you can have a 6-foot center.
Right.
It's still. I know the league is different, and it's going towards the smaller ball, but you still need size in this league to win. You never be able to clog the paint especially in the Western Conference when you got all these guys. Kawhi, LeBron, AD. How would they match up with the Lakers? The Lakers would destroy them. Even with Dwight Howard, they could have Dwight Howard just play and they would destroy them. So I don't know if that's gonna work. I saw them play the Knicks, and the Knicks have some size now, and the Knicks were giving them problems. RJ Barrett bullied PJ Tucker on that game-winning shot. That game-winning layup. So imagine a team that actually has depth and can play, doing that on in a playoff. So there's pressure on them. D'Antoni has had a lot of great teams. Has taken teams to Western Conference Finals, but he's never gotten over that hump. And it seems like every year they just fall short. I mean, a couple of years ago they missed 27 straight 3-pointers. Like I think we could make a 3-pointer on accident in 27 tries in the game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
On accident,
I'm with you.
chuck it up. We could just chuck it up and make one out of 27. And they missed like 25, 26, 20, whatever the exact, but it was around there. So there is a lot of pressure on them too, because do you trade Russ if this doesn't work out? If they get knocked out in the group stage, let's say this group stage, they get knocked out and don't advance. I mean, it's they might have to trade Russ and try to figure something out new, because they're not gonna trade James Harden, because James Harden is just that's the face of the franchise. But they might try to deal Russ, try to get a new coach. I don't know, but that's a good one. They have a lot of pressure.
But that's the thing. Like I looked it up. D'Antoni is 69. But that's the thing. Like if you fire D'Antoni or he resigns, they mutually agree that he resigns. What coach do you get to bring in there to fit that personnel? Because nobody else runs that personnel. And now you've already traded Capella, who I think would be Bill Russell back in the 60s. So like you. So like
were you the one that started that?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Oh,
yes, he was.
So I sent you a tweet that I didn't like. You started that. Oh, we gotta talk about that. No, we gotta talk about that. Come on.
Man, Bill is 16, shooting like 43%, man. Capella, Samuel Dallenberg, Tyson Chandler, they all would have been killing back then.
On Twitter, bro. I think there was even athletes talking about that, bro. Damn.
They all would have been killing back then. Sam Dallenberg, Tyson Chandler, Clint Capella.
Don't tell me Sam Dallenberg would be good.
Hey, my boy.
Eddie Curry, Kwame Brown.
Tony Batiste back there, boy.
Tony Batiste, Ratliff, Theo Ratliff. Come on now.
Oh,
would
man.
all been killing back then, man.
That's funny. That's funny.
Eddie Curry. He would have still ate his way out of the league.
Hey, but that's funny. But I think the Rockets, man, what's crazy is somebody has to be the Utah Jazz. Somebody has to be that team. Somebody has to be the Sacramento Kings from 2000s. It's always that team that no matter what, it's just somebody in the obstacle better than you, and it's just what it is. And, we talked about, like, RP to Jerry Sloan, Utah Jazz coach. I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it with no ring. He lost in 97, 98, went to I think like 17 straight
Yeah. He went to, like,
playoffs
16
or whatever.
playoffs, like 6 West Finals. Like, he had a good
Like,
career.
and it's always somebody in the way. Whether I always say Utah Jazz blew it, but but the Rockets, you can say they blew it. You got last year, Chris Paul didn't show up the first 4 games, and then he finally showed up, and then Eric Gordon don't show up. So it's kind of like you got different things, and hamstring from Chris Paul. The year before that, like, so you always right, and then you got D'Antoni when he was in New York. When Melo and Stoudemire when they was out there hooping. So it's so many instances from D'Antoni and James Harden and Russell Westbrook where somebody got to be them of that era. And I hate to say it, but I don't believe James Harden, Russ, or D'Antoni will ever get a championship. And it's because somebody has to be them in every era. And I think it's the Houston Rockets.
It's crazy. Like, James Harden has shown to be one of the best players, but it seems like once he gets to the playoffs, he's just not that same player. And Rustberg too. The last year in when the Thunder, they lost at 5.
Right.
A team with Westbrook and Paul George at the time should not lose in 5 games. That just shouldn't happen. That's why with Westbrook, I know he's a tremendous player, but can he take that next level too? And I don't know if him and Harden can do it together. That's still, it can always work in the regular season when you have teams like that. But can that dynamic do it in the playoffs? And with Westbrook's style and Harden's style, they have that usage rate. You got 2 guys who need the ball at all times, and when you get to playoff time and crunch time, both guys are going to want that ball. Westbrook's been the guy, since KD left, to be the guy at the last second, and same with Harden. How would that dynamic work? And I don't know about them. I just, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
And it's crazy is Rashad can attest to this, man. I've been trying to tell Daryl Morey, trying to call him, email him, tell him, you need to trade Capella. This was like a year and a half ago for Jaylen Brown. And now it's too late. Now Jaylen Brown has too much emerged over Clint Capella. And I always said that, they throw out Ben McLemore, the Daniel Houses, and all these other guys, and they're fine in their system. But you get an impact player like Jaylen Brown. So when Westbrook goes sit down, it ain't just James. Or when James goes sit down, it ain't just Russ. And that's what, as a media or fan, they're always gonna ride James Harden. They're always gonna ride Russ because of that factor. You can't win it. Well, if I had a little bit more help, like everybody else gets. Granted, it's me and him, but if he gets tired and it's just me, what am I supposed to do? So
and that's the thing. I thought this year would be the best chance to win, especially with this little pandemic going on. I won't say little pandemic, this major pandemic going on, because now they've had a break. So now they're rested. The knock is always, they carried the regular season, so now they're tired and flamed out come playoff time. But now you've had a month and a half, 2 months off. All the guys should be rested, so they shouldn't have an excuse of being tired.
Right.
They should be able to make it far with their. You get a training camp, you start the season all over again. You should be able to survive 30, 35 games, a play-in stage and, 2-3 rounds of playoffs. You should be able to survive about 30, 35 games. But who knows, man, if no size and if D'Antoni can't make the adjustments, or if their chemistry's a little bit off, or their shots aren't falling because of rhythm, they'll be out early.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see with them, because they can win it all, or I can see them getting eliminated in the first stages. So
right.
They're one of those teams where
the range too high.
Their range is all over the place. So it's going to be interesting to see. But they're going to need Gordon healthy. They're going to need D'Antoni to make adjustments, and hopefully Westbrook and Harden can be cohesive and get it going, because like I said, a lot of pressure on them.
Right. All right, so moving on for D'Antoni, who used to coach this team, New York Knicks, your New York Knicks. Man, they've been in the media trying to find out who the next coach is going to be. Fizdale didn't really get a good rap. He got a hand and he tried to play how he had it. But rumors, Tibbs.
Yeah, man. Tibbs.
So give me
Kenny Atkinson too.
Kenny Atkinson.
That's my guy.
So all right. So let's talk about Tibbs first, because I'm trying to figure out why. Good coach, but why is he always the first guy to get the calls? Especially what we know about him, and you know, T Mac was on All the Smoke talking about how he was killing Yao Ming before the games, and you know Yao Ming flamed out because he just couldn't handle it. You know, we talked about what he did with Minnesota and even Chicago. Like he had all these stuff around him. So I don't know, man. With Tibbs,
45 minutes a night.
play Derrick Rose after you win in the game with like you up did 10 points or something, and Derrick Rose ACL. It's all right. So give me your what you think of Tibbs, the positives of bringing Tibbs, and then the negatives.
The positives, he is a good coach. Now, obviously, with all those things you just said, those are things that you worry about, obviously. But he is a good coach. He's defensively, he's one of the best defensive coaches in the league. And the Knicks desperately need that. We need to work on defense. We have guys who can play. We just need the team defense to get together. And you know, we got Mitchell Robinson and you know, RJ, guys who I think who can be solid defenders in this league. And you know, I just, you know, a lot of people focus on the minutes and you know wearing out players and stuff. And I just have a feeling that, you know, that he's learned a lot from those past mistakes, because those all were mistakes. He did overwork guys in Chicago, and it may or may not have cost them a chance to win a ring. You know, especially with Derrick Rose and the injury and stuff, and you know, everyone else. And in Minnesota, I mean, he did take them back to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Obviously, it didn't work out but that's more of a front office. You
Shout
know,
out Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler and all that.
Practice.
You know, him killing Wiggins and Cat. But some of those players were just not. They just don't have the mental makeup. You know, that toughness. So I can't put that all on Tibbs and stuff. You know, but you know, if he's the coach of the Knicks, I think it would be a good fit. You know, like I said, you know, we need a coach who's going to be hard nosed. You know, we haven't had a hard nosed coach like that in a while. You know, Hornacek wasn't that guy. Derek Fisher, hell, wasn't that guy. He was too busy getting punched by Matt Barnes. Hell, let's just get Matt Barnes on the roster on coaching. You know, Matt, you know, that situation was a bomb. Fizdale was just, he was brought into thinking that we were going to get, you know, big time free agents, and you know, obviously we struck out on that. But I could talk days about that whole situation. But you know, I think we need toughness. This is a job he wants. He's wanted this job the last 3 openings, and we didn't get him. I think he's learned from his mistakes. He's gonna bring that, you know, playing guys 45 minutes. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think it'd be a solid hire. He's familiar with Leon Rose he's a CAA client. So they have that reputation. They have that chemistry already. So I think it'd be a solid fit. You know, there's also, you know, rumors about Kenny Atkinson too, but there's not too many coaches out there, you know, quite frankly, that would really be intriguing for the Knicks. So, you know, I think it'd be a solid fit. You know, I think he's learned from his mistakes, and you know, and like I said, this team needs an ass whooping. They need a training camp where they're gonna get chewed out, and you work hard, because you know, Lord knows the last 7-8 years, you know, since we lost to Indiana in the playoffs, it's been abysmal. So this team might be perfect for that type of coach, to get that out of them and get the best out of his players, because he has gotten the best. He got the best out of those Chicago teams. He's got the best out of those Minnesota teams. But you know, I think this is a coach that could quite possibly be a good fit for us.
Man, I'm in favor of Kenny Atkinson changing boroughs.
Yeah,
you know, as far as the pros for each guy, you know, Kenny Atkinson, he just kind of built up that young culture with the Knicks, and we know Thibodeau, he's good for building up a young culture. What he did with the Wolves in his season there and make the playoffs, of course, what he did with the Bulls. So both guys have that pedigree of being able to build up and coach a young culture. Mm-hmm. But to me, Kenny Atkinson, what he did with the Nets, and I think he just won't kill the guys. Like, he won't break. Like, if RJ Barrett's the next future star, Kenny Atkinson, he won't break that guy down like over the course of 2-3 years trying to play in. Well, of course, you want to play 82 games, but he won't grind him out for 42 minutes a night. He won't grind out Mitchell Robinson, things like that. He'll kind of coach up, Knox and all these guys to play at their best without grinding them out. I think Tips, he's so hard-nosed, and yeah, he's defensive-minded, but just that mentality of like playing, not using your bench depth, just running guys into the ground at 40-something minutes a night perennially. That can just, even that young guys, 19, 20 years old, that could on the long haul take some years off their careers. And then if the Knicks have, dreams of landing another big star like a potential Giannis or whoever comes up in free agency, I don't think that they'll want to play for a guy like Tibbs who's going to grind them out and only play 6-7 guys a night.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like I said, that's why I would love Kenny Atkinson to be the coach. I think what he did with Brooklyn, with all the assets they lost from the Boston trade from years ago when they traded for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, and it still trickled down to we still got draft picks up that Boston had.
Alexa, play Drake for Ness.
Big time. And how he was able to deal with the roster he had and to coach up D'Angelo Russell from being people thought D'Angelo Russell was just going to be another guy in the league that'd be a solid scorer, and then he took him to another level where he was an all-star.
There's Kale's guy right there.
Yes, sir.
And to get a max deal, in Golden State, he got him paid, and to get Karis LeVert to take the next step, and Spencer Dinwiddie and Jared Allen and all these guys that and that Nets team struggled last year in the beginning of the year, and he took that team and they went on a roll and they made the playoffs, and that led them to get Kevin Durant. And in order to get guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie to come, you got to show that you got a winning mentality, and then that's what the Knicks failed to do last year. Was they thought
growth.
What the Knicks failed to do was not develop their young guys. They didn't develop Knox, Ntilikina, and all those guys last year. They just straight up tanked, and the tank didn't work because you didn't get Zion. So that was the first domino to fall. Once that didn't happen, that's when I was like, oh, this is bad. Like the plan is starting to, and then you hear the rumblings that they don't want Kyrie by himself, and then that's what happens. But when you build a culture like the Nets did, KD and Kyrie are looking at that like,
maybe,
okay,
yeah,
well, that's something, and we don't have to deal with the media as much because the Nets over here, they're the better team, but it's still it's a Knicks town, know. No matter what, it's a Knicks town, and how the newspapers, when the Knicks do anything, it gets news no matter what. And we haven't been good in years, and we still get we're on First Take. Stephen A's have this depressed face. Max Kellerman became a Lakers fan. Like, it's crazy with the Knicks, but you got to build established culture, and Kenny was a big part of that. He developed these guys and took them to that. Now, obviously, it didn't work. He got let go, and but that was more because they're in win now mode, and Kenny likes to build. And that's why I think it's a good fit with the Knicks, because we need that. Also, we need a guy who's going to develop to take Knox and figure out his game, because somehow his game got lost. Not to say he had a great rookie season, but you saw like, okay, he could be something. He could be a solid NBA player. He could get you 15, 16 a game, and then somehow it's like the Monstars. They took all his powers and he's going like, what the hell is going on? Like, dude forgot how to play basketball, and he went from being just a absolutely horrific player. So I think he could get Knox and just retool him, figure him out, and take RJ to that next level, because that's the main thing is, can you take RJ to that next level? And I think he could do that. He did it with D'Angelo Russell, and that's something that's very intriguing to me. And I think that's the top of my list, Kenny Atkinson, and then taking whoever the draft pick is and working. Hope maybe it's LaMelo Ball. I mean, him, LaMelo, and RJ. That would be a nice backcourt. So it would be interesting to see, if Kenny's the guy, because I think he could definitely develop. He's been a good coach. He had a good run with the Nets, and so that it's I'm definitely looking forward to if he's the coach, because I think that's definitely the right fit for the Knicks.
Yeah, keep Tibbs on the sideline, man. He can't be no head coach. Keep him the head coach. Yeah, I love Kenny, man. I thought Brooklyn did Kenny crazy, man, and
Yeah.
you know, is a guy I don't like over there anyway in Brooklyn. Rashad, you know what I'm talking about. So so you know, so it's all good. I'm glad Kenny free, and if Knicks do that, make that move, man. Like you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta have some consistency. And I thought Fizdale might have been the guy, just to start it off, or at least be the Mark Jackson to a Steve Kerr. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe they didn't give enough time for that to happen. And it's always got to start somewhere. And
Front office.
Kenny, yeah, you got to from the top down. And if you get that right, the rest will come. I mean, you see the Lakers. Once the Lakers got Robin there, Jeannie Buss took over. I mean, it took a couple years, and they missed out on Ben Simmons or Cat, and had to take some consolation prize. And you missed out on Zion and even the job, but R.J. Barrett showing signs, and like you said, you put Knox in the right situation, he can show you why he was a first round draft pick. And then the pick you got this year, hopefully, is LaMelo. I want LaMelo to go to the Knicks and bring Knicks back to glory. Because we talked about earlier the group stages, like all the big teams there, all the big brands. You get the Knicks in there, man. That's just more money. That's all it is.
The NBA needs the Knicks to be good. Again, you need a New York team to get back, to being competitive, and that definitely helps the league especially in Chicago too. You got Chicago, New York, and the LA teams. The LA teams are already doing their thing, and you at Chicago, the third biggest market in the NBA, and then you had the Knicks, the number one market, with the Nets too on the way.
Things happen.
That all that does is just make the league just continue growing and growing. So hopefully with the Knicks, obviously the Nets are going to be relevant next season, especially when KD's back. But I like what the Knicks front office moves they made, and I think Leon Rose is surrounding himself with basketball people, which is something in the past the Knicks never did. They just hire whoever's they think is the best name. But now it seems like they're changing up, and they're hiring basketball minds, respected basketball minds, and so it's. I've been spurned before by the Knicks. I try not to get too happy, because my heart's been broken too many times with this team. But it feels like that they're finally making the right basketball moves, and it seems like, and hopefully we might get a top pick this year, and just continue to grow, and that's all you can do. It's been a rough few years, and then losing the lottery last year, it's tough, but. I'm being optimistic. If they hire Kenny, it's just that'll be good. And then if they get LaMelo too, possibly that could be great. Or Killian Hayes, one of these point guards, Halliburton, I'll be happy. And
go get Chris Paul.
Go get Chris Paul, maybe. Paul, maybe he's available. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. But it seems like they're trending upwards a little bit. I won't get too happy yet, but they're trending upwards. The next.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
That's what's needed to get to that next level. I'm Rob Pennell, and I'm going to teach you how to be an offensive machine.
All right, we are back, man. So we got to get into this John Wall, man. 110%. He says he's ready to return to action. And, it's about time John Wall get back into the surface, because he's been gone a while, the last 2 seasons. And it's kind of a good thing that he kind of, he failed and ruptured his Achilles. He didn't tear it like KD did and stuff like that. So it wasn't as bad. But if he says he's back, do y'all believe John Wall can take back his top 5 point guard in the game where he was just a couple years ago?
That's tough. I mean, because
position loaded, man.
It's first of all, yeah, like you said. I mean, how many great point guards are there in the league? I mean, there's so many, and then guys on the come up like John Morant and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, there's so many guys on the come up too. I mean, he tore his Achilles. You know, he had the knee injury. He's had a lot of injuries too. He's dealt with in his career, and he is older. You know, he's what in this? He's 30, 31 years old. It's going to be tough for him to get back to that level. It won't take a year. It's going to take a little bit more than a year plus to get his body back and into playing. So I don't know if he'll get back to that top 5 point guard level, you know, because at one point he was one of the best point guard, and he was the fastest point guard in the league. You know, he was a blur, you know, but I don't know if he can ever get back to that top because those injuries, man. I mean, he's missed 2 years already. You know, this will be the second year he's missed, and you know, those injuries, Achilles injury is rough. I mean, it's one thing to tear your ACL and stuff, but then to tear your Achilles, I mean, as we've seen, you know, Achilles injuries can really, you know, hurt your career. So I don't know if he'll ever get back to that top 5 level. I'm hope so because I hate to see guys' careers end with injuries like this. So I definitely want to see John Wall get back and healthy, and maybe Washington do something because it feels like they had some teams that should have gotten, you know, they should have done more, and it's crazy because Bradley Beal's finally, you know, he's one of the best scorers in the league. He's finally getting to that, you know, to his, you know, his potential. He's averaging 30 a game, you know, so it would have been fun to see him and Wall together, but you know, yeah, I don't see him get back to that top 5 PG level.
Man, you got Steph Curry, who's going to be back next year. Dame Lillard, who I think both those guys are top 10 players. So he's automatically at best going to be 3. And then you start looking at Trae Young, Kyrie, Kemba, Ja. I can keep going. But, you know.
Chris Paul got we can't lose Chris Paul got it. I don't care how old he is. That man changes things.
Bro, Chris Paul hasn't fallen off. Russ hasn't fallen off. So
Westbrook.
So Kid, I'm going to throw it to you. John Wall top 5 again? Nope.
No, that's tough.
It's all going. The crazy thing is, do y'all think he has to be a top 5 point guard for the Wizards to be great, or at least you know that 6 or 7 range? Because I mean, they could, with Bradley Beal being the way he is now, this could potentially be if John Wall was to come back and get hurt again. This is potentially how the Pacers were when Danny Granger and Paul George, and their timing they couldn't match up. And if it did, who knows what the Pacers would have done against the Heat, right? So I think I can agree to John Wall. He may not be the same guy. He may not be that top 5 guy, but can he be a top 10? Or at least, you know, if Bradley Beal is on this MVP tier, which, you know, obviously you can't because he's not winning, but scoring what he's doing, rebounding the city, putting the team on his back. You add a John Wall like that, who is a bona fide leader everywhere he's been. If you can get back to a top 10 range, or even if he gets to the Eric Bledsoe, his former teammate in college, if he's an Eric Bledsoe type, I mean, I can see the Wizards being something, and it's mostly because of Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal said this, you know, their deals match up, so they got 2 years left together. You know, he signed that extension, so if they can see, they can run it back and see what they can do. I mean, last time we saw these guys, that them and Boston was going at it with Isaiah Thomas on that team, so they was going at it, and it's not that far away from each other as far as years wise. So I don't know, man. Top 5, hell no, I can't do it. I love John Wall, but it's like you said, it is too many. It's just too many people.
But Kid, you love duos, so like as far as like a duo, what you thinking, man? Because I know, you know, coming to the year, you were saying Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, and you threw out some others like as far as like a backcourt duo. So what you thinking? Duo wise, a healthy John Wall and Bradley Beal, because I don't know.
All right, so we got Damon CJ. That's a good one. You still got Curry and Clay.
Harden Russ.
Harden Russ won. So that in my opinion. So if we talk about the guys I just named, after that, I mean after those 3, and really to be honest though, that CJ Dame ain't as. If John Wall can come back healthy and he's 5% less than his stats were as an All-Star, if he's giving me 20 and 10 or 20 and 8 or something like 18 and 8, I think I might take the Wizards over the Blazers. So maybe still a top 5 back. I mean, they might not be the top 3, but they definitely could be a top 5.
Yeah, they could be top 5 for sure. Yeah, I could see that because Beal alone.
Bill's a monster.
Beal.
Bill's a monster.
The fact that he didn't make the All-Star team, that doesn't make any sense. How you lead the league, how you lead the Eastern Conference in points, and you don't make the All-Star. I don't care how many they could have lost every game. He deserves to be an All-Star. I don't care. You know, you lead the Eastern Conference in points at over 30 a game. You know, you put your team on your back, and with all the injuries they've dealt with, like, come on, how do you put the, you know, because his team has struggled on him. You know, you see the injuries, you see his team, his roster right now. No John Wall, and you're gonna leave him out because he doesn't have team success. Well, come on, really?
Man, I feel bad for Bill because, like, even in group stage, they still wouldn't even be a top 20 or 21 team. I think they like 22, 23.
But they are what, 2 or 3 back from the AFC. So I mean,
That's the Eastern Conference.
from the Eastern Conference. Yeah. You gonna have AFC go.
Being the worst team in the league.
Right. Yes. So you're going to have a losing record making the playoffs. So yeah. Hey man, John. If John Wall comes back, it makes that point guard like debates like so great. Cause I remember when he was in his prime, man. Like before all the injuries happened, like it was talking about was he the best in the league and was he the best point guard, and you know, that was a battle, yeah. And I think John Wall even said that he loved going against Kyrie because they know that at the time they was 1 and 2. And, you know, obviously Curry emerging and Dame's here now. And we got the Trae Youngs. We got the Ja Morants. And, you know, so it's so many point guards. It's a lot of them. And I think Bradley Beal is the second best shooting guard in the game. So if you have the second best and you number 9 point guard, I mean, you might could do some things. So especially in the East, it's not that like you got to be that great in the East. You just got to have 2 good guys and you be there. I mean, Milwaukee winning with Chris Middleton, my guy, as the second best player. So anything can happen.
I think at the highest, John Wall could be 4. Like I can't put him past Curry or Dame. And I know the defense isn't really there, but just what he can do scoring wise, I'll go Trae Young at 3. And then, like you said earlier, man, with just the debate of Kyrie, Kemba, Wall, I think Wall could be 4 or 5. So if you, like you said, you got a top 5 shooting guard and a top 5 point guard, you should be at least 45 wins in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
He can get there. It's going, like you said, because it's going to take a while because you haven't got back on the court. But hopefully this is, you know, during this pandemic. If he said 100%, is he going to come back like this year, or he just going to wait till next year? Those things I do want to see if it does happen. If they get a chance to play, because the Wizards ain't got no chance.
They ain't got no chance this year. You might as well wait till next year.
Yeah. You might be right. Chris, tell everybody where they can find you at and where they can find your podcast at.
Yeah, so Off the Ball podcast. I'm on all podcast platforms. You know, Spotify, you know, iTunes, you know, iHeartRadio, pretty much every platform. And on social media, you can find me on Twitter, Off the Ball Pod. You know, I'm very active on there. Instagram, Off the Ball Pod, and on Facebook, you can. I'm on Off the Ball Podcast. I just revamped my website, theofftheballpodcast.com. You can check out. You know, I write some articles there. I got all my podcasts up there. My YouTube stuff's there, and you know, I got a line of merch that I just, you know, about to launch. I'm excited about that. Got some designs, so I'm excited to launch that. You know, working on production for that. So yeah, just follow me there. You know, I follow back. I'm very active. So, you know, reach out and, you know, go check out the podcast, check out the merch, and, you know, just continue to grind every day. You know, I didn't do much podcast work this week because I overloaded myself the last 2 weeks. I did way too many shows. I didn't realize, but when it comes out and people appreciate the work, it's all worth it. But this week, take a little break and then get back on the grind next week with some dope shows. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it for sure.
I appreciate you guys. You guys do great work too. So I'm happy and honored to be on the show, man.
Appreciate you, man. Hey, y'all check out 12 Ounce Sports. Y'all go to 12ouncesports.radio.com. Go to the 12 Ounce Sports mini catalog. We got some T-shirts for y'all guys now. Classic white T-shirts, navy T-shirts, a collar shirt now. It's free shipping over orders of $60. It's only $25. Why don't y'all just go ahead and purchase one? So I know me and Rashad are thinking about go ahead and get a couple like that. So if we want to help y'all out, I think I want to say, man, if we can get some sales, up there, It made a little cheddar coming our way, Rashad. So we got to do right by our guys, man. Got to do right. 12 Ounce Sports.
Marshawn Lynch, get your chicken.
Get your chicken.
Definitely. All right, man. Preach, care, preach. With Rashad. Appreciate you, Chris. Man, we out.
Thank you, guys.